We're going to get 2 race finishes for the price of 1. This is a 35 plus 3-4 race. We're jumping right into 2 corners to go. Pete, let's just watch it and then go back and talk about all the bad things I did.
Yeah, let's break it down.
Yeah. This is actually, when you first watch this, kind of sketch. Watch the guy on the right, getting pushed out of the curb. He almost crashes here. Boom, bobbles wheels. Kind of gets stuck in front of me. I don't get to open up my sprint. Where do I go? Now I get an opening and go. And so much bad led up to this, Pete, though.
Yeah.
I think I end up getting 5th or something like that. Not a good result.
Yeah, not what you aimed to go for, right?
Let's jump back with 1 lap to go.
Cool.
Okay, so it's just about 1 lap to go now. Pete, what do you do on this course?
Well, so with this course, it's a pretty short final couple turns into the finish line, and you don't really get a full sprint. You can't uncork a full sprint in the final 500 meters of this course. So it's really all about getting to those final corners as far up as you can get. Really, we were talking to you about being first or second wheel through there, right?
Yeah. I talked to some of the other racers, and these guys in the blue actually, earlier in the video, he pats his button and goes, "Nate, come on, let's go." And I actually think this is my lead-out train right here, just right now, and I'm going to get brought to the front. But that doesn't happen.
Well, yeah, lead-outs are really hard. Even strong guys do them wrong. It takes a lot of things to happen correctly for a lead-out to really work, and kind of relying on those ad hoc lead-outs that you find during a race, not a great chance of success.
So that's my first mistake, is kind of doing making a deal on the fly for a lead out.
Yep, exactly.
That you should never do that in a race, right?
with 1 lap to go. Hey, let's go.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yes.
I did it twice in a row, but that's my first mistake. Just pause right here. See this guy? He was getting lapped. He decides to come in, and the angle he comes in on me, it scares me. So watch this now as we go. Ooh,
Yeah.
I let up there. I thought he was going to take me out.
Yeah, at high speed, that's scary no matter what.
That's not good.
So we're in the second to final straight, and you're still not quite as far up as you thought you could be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so when you're not through the final corner in those early wheels, there's just no way you can pass people on this straight.
Yeah, and let's go back to, I think a mistake I made. So this is a fast wheel right here, the guy in blue. There was someone on my right, but I definitely by taking a wide line, I definitely let go of that wheel.
Yeah, and so there's kind of 2 mistakes for all at once right there. If you're taking the inside line, you can always push someone out so that you're in control of everybody's trajectory through the corner. And if there's a guy who's fast and who you know is going to do a good job, always stick tight to that wheel. And even in the final, no one's going to break like in these final 200 or 300 meters, so you can float even closer to those guys.
And I gain on him, and he would have been a great lead out if I would have stayed on. So I guess mistake number 2 is I didn't hold his wheel, and mistake number 3, I didn't take the inside line.
Yep.
Those are kind of go together.
Yeah, and then also all those guys right up at the front got the lines through the corner.
Yeah, they got their favorite line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I want to mention is after this race, Peter in front, who kind of got pushed over and then had a bad line right in this section right here. You can see, ooh, that's sketchy, right?
Yeah.
He yelled an expletive after the race, but he swore he thought he was on the left side of the street. I said, I had some footage, maybe that's something different. I showed him that, and he was very apologetic afterwards, understood, but there's just a point of saying that when you're in the race, what you think happened doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
Happens all the time when I watch these videos.
All the time. The way you remember the race is different than the footage shows almost all the time, right?
Right. So now let's go in. I had another race about 2 hours later, same course, Cat 3. Let's switch to that one.
Cool.
Okay, so this is the Cat 3 race. This is coming to the final lap. And I made the same mistake I made before as with Chaz, who's an extremely fast mountain biker, really nice guy. I said, hey, let's work together. We got to be the first 2 guys in that final turn. And I believe he said he was going to leave me out. I forget, but I see him come past me in here. I'm thinking, this is it.
Here we go. I learned a lot from last race. This time we'll just do it perfectly.
Yep.
And on the fly, we'll pass everybody and make it happen.
Yeah.
This final stretch is long, but it's not long enough to pass the 25 guys ahead of you.
I think I could if I launched from like here.
Yeah. So there's your lead out train. If he goes all out and takes you into that final corner, or second to last corner, that's where you'd make it, right?
So that's where I want is right now. This is where you want to race and go as hard as you can to be first or second wheel in those final corners.
Exactly.
Right? Like, so Chaz actually brings me up a good ways, and we're going pretty fast. And you even hear me on the video. I'm like, first in the turn, Chaz, or something like that. But I end up coming in this turn in not a good position.
Yeah, there's a whole fan of riders in front of you, and this is where you have to decide which side you're going to take. I think you take the right side and go inside because the inside line's always better on the last lap, or almost all the time. Flying nice and fast into this corner.
And then you can't tell right here, but let me pause and come back. Coming in this corner, it doesn't look like in the video, kind of what you said, but I felt like I was going so much faster than the guy ahead of me, the junior, the Swift guy, that I was going to hit him, and I just touched my brakes for a second. And I probably could have, there's enough of an opening that I could have taken the inside line, but that could have saved me another 3 spots by carrying in speed. So the final mistake I made, which is the worst mistake of all the mistakes, is I touched my brakes in the final turn. So Pete, how do you trust, what do you do?
Yeah, that's in the final lap or final half a lap, you generally don't have to worry about people touching their brakes, so you kind of have to trust everybody. You're in this kind of dangerous bubble behind the sprint, which feels a lot worse when you're in there than the final lead out. So it's up to you, but taking that inside line, you know that you can just squeeze inside of that rider even if you are going faster, and you can always brake when you're closer to him rather than you might need to brake and maybe run into him.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to show you, let's see who saw this the very first time, and let us know in the comments if you saw this the first time.
Yep.
Because this is amazing. We're going to show the race winner, and the race winner did what you told me to do on this course before I even did it, what I talked about doing, but I didn't execute. Yep, my fault. And two, with the lead outs, it's all my fault. That's what's so frustrating about this race is I could have put out more power. After the race, I wasn't that tired. I look at my power PRs. I'm like, I didn't do much power compared to other races. I think my normalized power going into the end was 211, so I was plenty fresh. Yeah. I just didn't execute. So frustrating.
Well, and that's when you kind of split the responsibility between you and somebody else. It's like, well, maybe the other person is going to get this for me, and when we know you could have done it all by yourself.
I know. Yeah. Okay. So, Pete, you want to walk us through what happens?
Yeah, so this is pretty amazing. This is the final straight again, and what I want you guys to look at is along the right side of the screen, there's going to be a rider coming up in an orange helmet. You see him in the rear camera right there, and we're about halfway through the straight, and as he joins the frame, he starts sprinting up the right side, full uncorked sprint with the whole goal of being into the second to last corner, first wheel.
Yeah, that's Jose, a local Reno rider.
And from that point, he uncorked the whole sprint. Everybody else is still thinking about the lead out and thinking about these final 2 turns. So as everybody is starting to ramp up, he was already going 36 or 38 miles an hour and had a gap going into that corner.
Watch this turn. Watch how far ahead he is. Boom.
So he's 15 bike lengths ahead of everybody going to the last corner. He doesn't even have to sprint through the final straight. He can just ride, and nobody's going to catch him.
Right, so we all did that wrong. People were thinking about lead-out trains and stuff and sprinting right here at the end, but he caught everyone by surprise.
Yep.
And he's a good sprinter, but still, his speed differential, if we were still going fast in that section, 30 miles per hour. It's amazing to see when proper tactics work.
Right, and even if you're not a sprinter, sprinting into the final couple corners, only a few guys can pass you. You're guaranteed to have a pretty good chance of holding something into the line, where if you're going to sprint heads up with 10 guys in the final 300 meters, who knows how it's going to shake out.
The other thing that he did really well, which I didn't do well in the next video that we're going to show in the upcoming, is he did this from the back. So as he gained speed, we were going 31. He was getting a draft, though, the whole time, like a Peloton draft. So he used that to his advantage, snuck through, and just came by with such a speed differential that these people couldn't cover it.
Yeah, there's just no chance.
Okay, well, good job, Jose. Bad job, Nate. If we missed something, please put it in the comments. If you like this video or you just feel sorry for me, please give us a thumbs up. And if you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
I'm Nate.
And I'm Pete.
And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up.
If you didn't like this video, give it a thumbs down, and let us know what you would do in the comments below.
If you want more of these videos, please subscribe to us. And if you want to become a faster cyclist, check out TrainerRoad.com.
We need a timer.